Awesome. So for the people who are watching this on YouTube, if you guys do want to trade live with me every single morning and a bunch of other amazing traders and get some top-notch education, make sure you guys join the Discord. That link will be down in the description. So today we're definitely going to go over the Ameritrade. We can go over the SPY trade and we can go over the QQQ trade because the QQQ was a very small loss just because I was liking the SPY setup more. So I thought I might as well take the capital and put it into SPY instead of the QQQ. So we're going to start off with Meta, definitely the trade of the day. This was an absolutely ridiculous trade. These contracts did over 100%, right? So the trade itself was pretty straightforward. As we see, Meta was on a tear recently, and it ended up breaking this resistance right here at this 288 to 290, came back and made it support 1, 2, 3 times. And we can see 300 psychological resistance. And in the pre-market this day, it tapped 300.3. So because 300 is psychological resistance and we tap 300.3, that is our resistance zone. And as we could see yesterday, it came up into 300.2 and then came back down. In pre-market, based off the CPI data that we have, or that we had a massive spike up in the overall market, right? So Meta was able to clear that 300. And if we pull up the watch list, and again, I go live on my YouTube channel every single morning, Brandon Trades, 8 a.m. Eastern time, and I come up with this watch list. The very first thing that I put on my watch list today was Meta for a reason. Meta, if the market is strong today, I will be looking for an uptrend entry as Meta still has that daily gap. It has to fill all the way up into like 316. Ideally, would like to see a retest of 300 to 300.3 as a bounce or for a bounce. So that is the reason and how I found that area. Resistance, break, turn, support. The people who are shorting 300, what are they more than likely going to do if price breaks and then retest their area and they get very close to break even? They're going to cut their shorts, becoming buyers. If you're like us, right, waiting for the 300 break, what are we going to do if price retests it? Become buyers. So that sets up for a high probability long entry. You guys heard me say, again, we went live in Team Bull before the market opened, ran through the watch list. I said, this is my favorite setup. I will try longs down in this 300.3 to 300 with a stop at 299.7. Reason being 299.7, it gave a little wiggle room just in case it wicked down and then came back up. But also if we started to lose 300 with weakness, then more than likely Meta was going to dump. So the risk to reward on this trade was excellent, right? So now if we break it down to a 1 minute time frame, this is what I used to snipe my entry. As price came down into the area and started to come up with this 1 minute bullish hammer that it was forming, that's when I got long on the trade. Again, announced live in Team Bull. I walked through this entire trade, start to finish. So it wicks down into the area and comes back up, confirming the entry long. Stop loss was weakness below 300 at that point because we already reacted to the area, right? So it wicked down, came back up. We sniped it on a 1 minute time frame. If you guys didn't see my YouTube video that I posted yesterday confirming entries using price action, definitely highly suggested because the price action confirmed. So I always snipe with a 1 minute or a 2 minute. 2 minute actually had a nice confirmation as well, but I like that 1 minute a lot more. And these contracts they did about 60% in 4 minutes, right? So absolutely crazy. You could have just called it a day right then and there if you really wanted to. I know a lot of people did. A lot of people just said, hey, I'm taking my profits, I'm done. But I was looking for a larger reaction out of this trade. That's why I left runners, right? Because this is just such a key area. And this is the ideal setup that I would be looking for continuation, right? This wasn't a scalp setup that I was looking for. I was looking for a larger move out of it. Now, this was very quick, right? Which typically today it happened, but that's not always going to happen. Very beautiful trade right then and there. First 4 minutes of market open. But then if we zoom out to higher time frames, did anything in this chart right here, and we can actually pull up trading view. So I want you guys to see this. We can do bar by bar replay. Boom. Even if you were watching a 2-minute time frame, the entire trade never gave a reason to fully exit. Obviously, you want to lock in profits on the way up, which we did, right? That's an amazing candle in literally 3 minutes. But then after that, price came down. It goes right here. And it kept respecting the opening print, which is why I wanted to hold the position. Nothing about the 2-minute or the 5-minute or even the 15-minute confirmed to get out of the trade and lock in all the profits. So we're respecting that opening print. And then we were kind of failing to break the, what was it? It was like 302.70. I think it was this high right here that I kept talking about, that 303.25. Buyers weren't willing to push it above, but again, we weren't breaking that opening print. So then it came down, it tested VWAP, and then that's when we saw the big reaction to the upside. So then again, as we continue to get more upside, obviously we're trimming, but in the overall price action, nothing is saying to fully exit the position. This is why we leave runners and we want to use the price action to fully understand, okay, can this give us more? Right? If you took this trade with size and you squeezed your profits, this might be the only trade that you need for the entire week, right? So we got in all the way down here and we rode this thing all the way up into 307. And then after that, it wicked down and hit my stop loss. And then it wanted to go all the way up to like 309. But either way, looking at the 2-minute, does any candlestick here tell us to fully exit the position? Anybody? And the 5-minute was actually looking even better intraday as it was forming. It would come down and then they would push the price back up, had a nice little hammer, dragonfly doji, and then they push price higher. But nothing on this chart right here says to fully exit your position. Obviously, we're not going to keep our stop loss below 300 at this point. We've moved our stop loss up in profits, right? So nothing on the 2-minute said exit. Come on. Nothing on the 5-minute said exit. Look, dip down, wick back up, dip down, wick back up, bullish candles. And then we had that nice push up. We had a lot of volume come in at this wick right here. And then eventually I got stopped out. Entire trade. My stop loss in this scenario after we caught this move up was right below VWAP. So it got very, very close to hitting that stop. But again, that's why you need to use EMA's VWAP to understand, okay, where could I trail my stop loss? So looking at this 2-minute, what you could have done, right, was catch this this trend to the upside, and you could have just showed your stop loss under the 8 EMA the entire way if you really wanted to. So I like to set stops based on, you know, is there an EMA that I could use? Like maybe we catch an entry off the 21 EMA. Where would our stop loss be? Right under the 21 EMA, right? So you can use these indicators. I like to use the 8 EMA, 21 EMA, and VWAP as potential, where could I move my stop loss to? So in this trade, my stop was below VWAP. We came and bounced right off of it. And then we continued to push. And then at that point, I was just moving the stop loss up in profits until finally I got knocked out of the trade. And then it ripped even higher after that. But hey, it was a beautiful trade. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, and then the SPY trade. So we can go over the QQQ and SPY trade as well. Let's exit that out. So with the QQQ and SPY, what I was looking for was a pullback into these retracements, right? So delete that, delete that, delete that. So with this QQQ, what I was looking for was this VWAP in 61.8% retracement for a potential bounce. And we tried it initially, but what I was noticing was SPY hadn't touched it 61.8 or 50% retracement yet. Which if SPY was going to pull, QQQ had more room down. So I was like, okay, let me just hop out of this QQQ for a very small loss and watch the SPY for a potential better entry. So we hopped out of the QQQ and wow, we actually went red on the day. That's crazy. Sorry, this short's a disaster. Hold on. So we hopped out of the QQQ, but then what I was liking about SPY was we had this VWAP right here and the 50% retracement right here. So again, we break it down to smaller time frames. Look at how we reacted right off of that VWAP and 50% retracement. Look at the volume. VWAP, 50% retracement. We closed above it, get long, stop loss was right below here. We caught a nice little scalp to the upside, nothing crazy. Right now, had this trade moved back to high day, it would have been a lot better, but that's why we slowly trim and then we move our stop losses. So then I was able to lock in profits. This trade was taken on the small account, same with the QQQ. Meta was obviously on the larger account. That was my favorite setup for the day. But then I trailed the stop loss $5 under break even on this SPY and it hit it. No reason to keep the stop loss down here anymore. We already caught a nice move to the upside. Right? So trail your stop loss. If the market's going to give us more, it's going to give us more. If it doesn't, that's why we have a stop.